Amid the biting inflation in the country after the implementation of various government policies, an appeal has gone to Nigerians to exercise a little patience with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he continues to implement policies which are aimed at bringing about positive change to the country's current economic situation. Despite World Bank's projection that Nigeria's inflation would hit 25% in the coming months due to the adverse effect of fuel subsidy removal, Chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government and President of Guinea-Bissau, Umaro Sissoco Embalo, commended the laudable policy initiatives of President Tinubu in the last months and added that everyone in the international community has been commending the giant strides of the Nigerian leader. President Embalo paid a visit to President Bola Tinubu at his Ikoyi residence in Lagos State. Joining us now on the morning show to assess President Tinubu's 1 month in office is Buba Galadima, a chieftain of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Morning, Ma, and thank you for inviting me on this show today.
Well, good morning, sir. Good to have you again on the morning show. But before we begin to talk about Tinubunomics and what President Tinubu has been able to do in the last 1 month, as we look forward to his first 100 days, let's start with your party, the NNPP. You've been quoted as saying, well, you are not aware that Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso may be planning to join the All Progressives Congress. But at the same time, you were quoted as saying, well, Senator Kwankwaso will not mind working with the Tinubu administration. Well, since you made that statement, have you had access to fresh information about choices that may be possibly made by Senator Kwankwaso? Is he going to the APC, or is he looking forward to an appointment in the Tinubu administration?
I think, Dr. Abati, I have to upgrade you and now call you Professor Abati, because you had reached that level in my own estimation. Secondly, I think the two statements are not contradictory, they are complementary, and they are the same. Three, you know that since I made that statement, the whole country has been in a festive mood of Salah. And there was nobody around to meet anybody or to discuss any politics, but all of us were glued to slaughtering our rams and making visitations to friends. So in short, I would say that there had not been any new development which I can share with my viewers.
All right, Alhaji Galadima, thank you very much for joining us today. Let's go to the assessment of President Tinubu's 30 days in office, 1 month in, and there are mixed reactions. There are some sides of the divide who say that started well. In fact, they call him, he's moving with jet fuel, jet speed. Policies, decisions that previous administrations were shy of making, he's done that, removal of fuel subsidy, a few key policies. Whilst others are saying that despite the good policies, they are suffering. Inflationary pressures, people are unable to afford their livelihoods because of these changes. How would you assess his first 1 month in office?
Well, thank you very much. 1 month is too early for anybody to assess an administration that has inherited myriads of problems in a country like Nigeria. However, so far, one would say that the man had started on a good footing. He has made appointments to help him carry the task of steering the ship of state. First, he has secured himself in the villa and around the villa by appointing commanders and sub-commanders that will take care of his own personal security. We are also aware that he has replaced the service chiefs including the Inspector General of Police. And those service chiefs are now in the process of appointing various unit commanders across the country so that they could take the war on security to the hoodlums, Boko Haram, kidnappers, and a host of other uncouth elements in the country. Of course, he has appointed key officers of government, like the secretary to the government, like the chief of staff, like the national security advisor, to help him formulate or set up the structures of government. Of course, he appointed other advisors also on economy, on health, and others. It is also a record that the man has touched the economy by trying to merge the parallel market with the official rate of the dollar. And even though it is causing some ripples, we know for sure that it would subside. It is also a record that the man had taken some hard decisions, which hitherto a lot of people were not, a lot of governments were afraid to take. Even though, if I were close, I could have advised him to do otherwise. Not otherwise in the sense of not removing the subsidy, but really to investigate what causes these subsidies so that we avoid falling into the pitfalls of what has led us to this subsidy scam across the country. I hope the nation had seen Barrister Femi Falana when he spoke of so many unaccounted billions and billions of dollars in the pockets of several individuals in this country that when recovered can settle our debt and propel us to development. I think this is also another hard decision that the president has to take in order to recover looted funds from individuals, because the greatest danger that face our country today is that there are individuals that are richer than the federal government of Nigeria or richer than their state governments. In other climes, when you have such people, they become warlords and become security risk to the country. So you cannot see one person having lots and lots and piles and piles and tons of money when other people cannot afford 1 meal per day. So the National Assembly had been inaugurated. Their presiding officers have been appointed. They are in the process of appointing committees and other things. So what is remaining now to complete this, the set of government is the submission of a list of ministers that will help the president carry out the day-to-day running of the government. And from what we hear or in the press or what we read in the social media, the president is on the right track because it looks like the man is trying to look for the best quality people, knowledgeable people, rather than partisan considerations in these appointments. I would say that we must be patient, give him some latitude, as I had done during Buhari's era, because it took me 2 years, gave Buhari enough rope so that we could see him properly before we started assessing this thing. I'm coming. And the difference is, I'm coming. Please, the difference is clear, because this is a government by a politician for politicians, unlike the military regime that we had just come out of. You could see that from what the president is doing, he's doing a lot. Even if he may have an idea about an issue, he tries to consult across the country, across all spectrum of people, low, high, small, big, political parties, eminent stakeholders in the country. If he continues this, definitely the sky of success would be his limit.
Okay, Alhaji, very good, all you've said. Couple of things, good to see you again. Baraka the Salah, post-Salah. And good to see you again. Wish you all the felicitations.
Rafai.
Alhaji, let's go straight to it
you.
quickly. Do you also see the suffering that Nigerians are going through? Do you see the pain? The fact that a lot of Nigerians can't drive their car, can't top up on fuel, don't have money to buy food any longer? What would you like to say about it? Because I know you've always been a man that fights for the poor. Do you see the fact that people are saying, yes, subsidy is good, that it left because of the corruption that was going on, and I personally support subsidy removal. But a lot of people are saying, what about the palliatives for the poor? Because now people are suffering like never before. The word on the street now is Shege Pro Max. People are suffering. They're in pain. Do you also see that? And what can be done as regards that? I'm sure you have a lot of people around you that you've heard their plights of suffering.
Well, Rafai, maybe when I was talking, you didn't listen to me, you were trying to interrupt. That is why you didn't quite get what I was saying. I said he took hard decisions, removed the oil subsidy. But if I were him, I could have done it differently. What was that differently? And I started to say that I could have inquired on even how and why this subsidy kept on accumulating and got us to this level where we are. That is the difference. And part of it would have been that if I were an advisor to Mr. President, I could have advised him to take some measures such that the removal will not be painful, the removal would not have a far-reaching effect on the social life of the country, especially the ordinary man. Subsidy, as we know, nobody is subsidizing the poor because the poor doesn't have a car. The poor doesn't have a motorbike. We are subsidizing the elite. But the issue, that subsidy, I still believe that there are a lot of things that we can do to really inquire into this subsidy, and a lot of money could be recovered because, as Falana said, that people were doing round tripping, that the subsidy was actually not even true. So why don't we make an inquest into this and find out? Of course, what we are saying is that the president must take an urgent action to address the issue of palliatives, to address the issue. For example, I personally went to Turkey just recently before the Salah. I came back 2 days to Salah, trying to exploit possibilities of getting a company that would come and establish the CNG plant in Nigeria, such that the cost of fuel, this petrol that had gone to 500 plus naira across the country, could be reduced to 100 to 120 naira per liter of compressed natural gas. And once we are able, for example, to import all these equipments and all these facilities, which the government must do quickly and address the situation, import buses that use the CNG so that we can reduce interstate cost of traveling for the ordinary man. Now, I believe that if I were in government, I could have suggested that in order to assist small workers that earn 30,000 naira per annum, we reduce the working days from 5 to even 4, such that when the economy stabilizes, we can come back to 5 days per week. These are issues that government must sit down and address properly in the interest of the country. Because when we press the common man, push him to the wall, we wouldn't know what would be his reaction.
Okay, Alhaji, only that you don't need to import CNG buses because it's been produced locally in Nigeria by the likes of Innocent and Co. So let's also support local production.
I say process. I didn't say import. The kits, maybe you don't understand, Rufai.
You said import CNG buses. You did say that, Alhaji.
We don't manufacture the kits.
No, Alhaji.
I said I had...
Alhaji, you are misinterpreting me. What you said was we need to import CNG
it's
buses.
okay, let's not argue on it.
That's what I said.
Okay.
I said, let's not argue. Let's not argue. We need many companies because we have got millions of cars on the road. Not one company can process CNG. You need a refinery to do that. And so many companies must come and partake because we must avoid the issue of dominance by one company or two companies or five companies to do a business. They will always hold us at ransom. So it should be a free economy where everybody would be allowed to do what he thinks he can do.
Alaji, as we begin to wrap up, I've read quite a number of economists saying, look, the big issue now is not that the fuel subsidy has been removed. It's been removed. Government is making more revenue. Average Nigerians are losing money. The major challenge, all the economists tell us, even IMF World Bank also tell us, is how to manage the fuel subsidy savings. Some reports are out there saying Nigeria is now saving about 400 billion per annum. And we have been told by World Bank that by the end of this year, we will save over 3 trillion naira. How should those subsidy savings be managed? State governors are saying, share the money under Section 162. But we know if they share the money, well, we know what they do with the money. What are your suggestions about how the poor can be protected? The World Bank says conditional cash transfer. I've not heard anybody saying conditional cash transfer can work in this country because the last time they tried it, we don't even know the people who got the cash transfer. What are your suggestions so that we focus on solutions rather than the problem?
Dr. Abati, I share your anxiety over this matter, and I am a compliant student of what you are saying. We know for sure that even if you carry all the subsidy money and give to one governor, he will still come back to say he hasn't got enough to do this or to do that. First, what we need to do is to do a budget regime that when governors and the central government makes a budget, they should not be allowed to deviate from that budget. And there must be a system of monitoring. In fact, all the monies that goes into states, I personally think that they can be monitored because the monies are being diverted. There is a story, for example, in the media, that one person who was Deputy Accountant General of the Federation gave his girlfriend $80 million, and thieves helped themselves in connivance with the driver in the house and took $4 million out of that money. The security that went to arrest those people also shared that $4 million into two with the thieves and the security people. And up to now, government was not able to bring those who stole the money into books. And people are parading themselves. What is the duty of the SSS? What is the duty of the SSS, EFCC? What is the duty of the police? Now, the judiciary must sit up. If monies are sent to states, I have a simple thing. If I'm the chairman of the EFCC, I will make sure that I will go to every state and catch, at the end of the month, question 3, 4 local government chairmen. 100 million naira was sent to you. What have you done with it? Give us the tally. You will see that this money from the 3 local governments or 4, they was sending money to a particular account owned by all the governors. They know that one. So once you arrest those ones this month, another month you arrest another set, I'm telling you, in the 3rd month, no chairman of a local government will agree to pass money to any governor. But we are not serious. We don't have the will to fight corruption. Therefore, if we don't have the will to fight corruption, it doesn't matter how much money the government makes, it will not be channeled towards development, it will not be channeled in the interest of the common man. And this is for us citizens. Yeah, one boy was killed in France. You had seen how the French government or the French society or the French citizens have lost billions and billions of euro in protest because of the killing of one person. Here, it doesn't matter. Somebody who helps you rig election has killed the society. Such a person should be hanged. These are the issues that are before us. We have to take proactive as citizens, proactive stand, and to demand for those in authority to tell us exactly what they do with our own commonwealth. We will be the police of ourselves. We shouldn't rely on conventional security people who also partake in the sharing to help us address this situation.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you very much, Alhaji Buba Galadima, for joining us on The Morning Show.